The city of Gaza, located in the southwestern region of the ancient land of Canaan, holds a place of profound significance in the tapestry of Middle Eastern history. Its origins trace back to the earliest days of human civilization, rooted in the pre-Aboriginal Mesopotamian era, a time when the first seeds of organized society were being sown. Gaza's strategic position, perched at the crossroads of major trade routes and military pathways, made it a coveted prize for empires and civilizations that sought to dominate the ancient world. From the Egyptians to the Philistines, from the Babylonians to the Greeks and Romans, Gaza was a city that no power could afford to ignore. Its story is one of conquest and resilience, of cultural exchange and conflict, and of a city that stood at the heart of some of the most pivotal moments in history. But what was it about Gaza that made it so indispensable? Why did so many empires, each with their own ambitions and agendas, fight tirelessly to claim it as their own? The answer lies in its geography. A city situated approximately 80 kilometers southwest of Jerusalem and just 5 kilometers from the Mediterranean Sea, Gaza served as a vital link between the fertile plains of Canaan, the arid deserts of Sinai, and the bustling trade networks of the ancient world. It was a city that connected empires, a gateway between Egypt and the lands to the north and east, including Syria and Mesopotamia. Control over Gaza meant control over the flow of goods, armies, and information, making it a linchpin in the political and economic strategies of ancient powers. But Gaza was more than just a strategic asset. It was a melting pot of cultures, a place where merchants, soldiers, and emissaries from distant lands converged, bringing with them their languages, religions, and customs. This cultural diversity shaped Gaza into a city of contrasts, where the traditions of the Canaanites, Egyptians, Philistines, and later the Greeks and Romans intertwined, creating a unique and vibrant society. Yet, for all its prosperity and influence, Gaza's history is also marked by conflict and devastation. Its strategic importance made it a target for invasions, and its proximity to the desert exposed it to the threats of nomadic tribes and the harsh realities of an arid climate. Despite these challenges, Gaza endured, its people adapting and rebuilding time and time again. The city's natural defenses, including its elevated position on a hill and its network of freshwater wells, allowed it to withstand sieges and attacks, earning it a reputation as a formidable stronghold. But beneath the surface of Gaza's storied past lies a mystery, a secret that has remained hidden for millennia. What untold stories lie buried in its ancient soil? What forgotten truths about its people, its rulers, and its role in shaping the course of history are waiting to be uncovered? As we begin to explore the origins of Gaza, we are drawn into a narrative that is as enigmatic as it is compelling. A narrative that promises to reveal not just the history of a city, but the secrets of an entire era. But be warned, some mysteries are not easily unraveled, and the truth about Gaza may be more astonishing than anyone could have imagined. Stay with us, for the journey into the heart of Gaza's past is just beginning, and the revelations that await are nothing short of extraordinary. What lies ahead in the next chapters of this ancient city's story will challenge everything you thought you knew about history, and the secrets we uncover may change the way you see the world forever. Gaza's biblical narrative is steeped in drama, prophecy, and a relentless undercurrent of divine reckoning. From the earliest pages of Scripture, this ancient city emerges not merely as a backdrop, but as a central player in the spiritual and political struggles that shape the destiny of nations. The Philistines, Gaza's most infamous inhabitants, arrived on the coastal plains of Canaan around the 12th century BCE, establishing their pentapolis, a league of 5 cities, including Ashkelon, Ashdod, Ekron, and Gath, with Gaza as its southern stronghold. These seafaring warriors, believed to have migrated from the Aegean or Anatolia, brought with them advanced ironworking techniques, a pantheon of fierce deities like Dagon and Baal-zebub, and a culture of militaristic ambition that clashed violently with the fledgling nation of Israel. The Bible paints the Philistines as arch-enemies of the Israelites, their rivalry echoing through generations, from the judges to the kings. Gaza, as their fortified capital, became synonymous with defiance, a city that harbored giants, imprisoned, heroes, and defied the God of Israel. It was here that Samson, the judge with supernatural strength, met his tragic fate. Blinded and humiliated, he was dragged into Gaza's temple of Dagon, only to bring the roof crashing down in a final act of vengeance, killing thousands. But Gaza's role in Scripture extends far beyond Samson's saga. Prophets like Amos, Jeremiah, and Zephaniah thundered against the city, foretelling its destruction as divine judgment for its idolatry, cruelty, and participation in the slave trade. Gaza will be abandoned, declared Zephaniah, a place of desolation. Yet, intertwined with these prophecies lies a haunting question. Why did Gaza, a city repeatedly shattered by conquests from the Egyptians to the Babylonians, persist as a locus of power and rebellion? What hidden threads connect its ancient curses to the cycles of violence that still plague its streets? The answer may lie in a chilling archaeological discovery, unearthed decades ago, but shrouded in secrecy, a relic buried beneath Gaza's soil that could rewrite our understanding of its biblical past. But that revelation must wait. For now we turn to the shadows of Gaza's temples, where gods once demanded blood and kings plotted against the prophets. The stage is set for a deeper dive into the city's darkest secrets, secrets that not only shaped its destiny, but may hold the key to deciphering the cryptic warnings etched into ancient scrolls. What did the prophets truly see when they gazed upon Gaza's future? And what forces, both earthly and divine, ensured its name would echo through millennia as a symbol of both ruin and resilience? The truth is closer than you think, but to uncover it, we must first confront the ghosts of Gaza's past. The shadows of Gaza's past grow darker as we turn to the fragmented whispers of history preserved in clay tablets, crumbling scrolls, and the silent stones of forgotten ruins. Ancient sources, from the Bible to Egyptian annals, Greek historians to Roman chroniclers, paint a mosaic of Gaza's legacy, but their accounts are riddled with gaps, contradictions, and tantalizing omissions. The Amarna letters, a trove of 14th century BCE diplomatic correspondence, reveal Gaza as a vassal city groaning under Egyptian rule, its governors pleading for military aid against raiding Habiru, a term some scholars controversially link to the Hebrews. Yet these letters never mention the Philistines, whose arrival decades later would redefine the region. Herodotus, writing in the 5th century BCE, dismisses Gaza as a Syrian city of little note, oblivious to its biblical infamy. Josephus, the Jewish historian, fills his chronicles with bloody accounts of Hasmonean sieges and Roman reconquests, but his bias against Gaza's pagan traditions casts doubt on his objectivity. Even the Bible itself offers conflicting portraits. Is Gaza a land of giants, as Deuteronomy suggests, or a bustling trade hub, as implied by its role in Solomon's empire? The answers lie buried, quite literally, in the layers of Gaza's soil, but modern archaeology has barely scratched the surface. Political strife, constant habitation, and the sheer weight of millennia have left much of the city's ancient heart inaccessible, its secrets entombed beneath modern streets. Yet tantalizing clues emerge. A 4th century BCE Greek inscription, found near Gaza's harbor, speaks of a temple to Apollo, long lost to time. A Roman-era mosaic, hidden beneath a refugee camp, depicts Dionysian revelry, a stark contrast to the city's biblical reputation for violence. Most chilling, however, are the unpublished field notes from a clandestine 1950s excavation, rumored to describe a Philistine catacomb filled with artifacts bearing inscriptions in an unknown script, a language that could decode the enigma of Gaza's darkest rituals. Why has this discovery remained suppressed? What truths might it expose about the city's whispered alliances with ancient sea peoples, or its role in the cults that defied Israel's God? As historians piece together Gaza's past, they confront a haunting realization. Every answer unearthed only deepens the mystery. The city's archives were burned by conquerors, its temples dismantled by zealots, its stories rewritten by victors. But somewhere beneath the sands, the echoes of Gaza's true history endure, waiting for the moment when a trowel's edge or a scholar's insight will resurrect them. And when that day comes, the world may finally understand why this city, more than any other, became a battleground not just for empires but for the soul of history itself. The next chapter, however, holds a revelation so startling, it challenges the very foundations of what we know about Gaza's ancient rivals and the divine forces that sought to erase them from memory. Gaza's strategic location was both its greatest blessing and its most enduring curse. Situated at the crossroads of continents, this ancient city became a linchpin in the vast network of trade and military routes that connected Egypt to Mesopotamia, the Mediterranean to the Arabian Peninsula. Its position, approximately 80 kilometers southwest of Jerusalem and just 5 kilometers from the Mediterranean coast, placed it at the heart of the ancient world's most vital thoroughfares. To the west lay the sea, a gateway to distant lands and lucrative maritime trade. To the east stretched the deserts of Sinai, a harsh but navigable barrier that linked Gaza to the riches of Egypt. To the north and south, the Via Maris, the ancient coastal highway, carried caravans laden with spices, textiles, metals, and grains, making Gaza a bustling hub of commerce and culture. But this prime location also made Gaza a target. Every empire that sought to dominate the region, Egyptians, Assyrians, Babylonians, Persians, Greeks, and Romans, recognized that controlling Gaza meant controlling the flow of goods, armies, and ideas. The city's natural defenses, including its elevated position on a 30-meter high hill and its network of freshwater wells, allowed it to withstand sieges and invasions, but even these could not shield it from the relentless tides of conquest. Gaza's geography also shaped its identity as a melting pot of cultures. Merchants from Phoenicia, Egypt, and Mesopotamia mingled in its markets, bringing with them not only goods but also languages, religions, and customs. The city's temples bore witness to this cultural fusion, housing deities from Canaanite Baal to Egyptian Hathor, from Philistine Dagon to Greek Zeus. Yet this diversity also sowed the seeds of conflict. Gaza's inhabitants, a mix of Canaanites, Philistines, Egyptians, and later Greeks and Romans, often found themselves caught between competing loyalties and ideologies. The city's proximity to the desert added another layer of complexity. While the fertile plains surrounding Gaza supported agriculture, the encroaching sands brought with them the threat of nomadic raids and the challenges of sustaining a growing population in an arid environment. Gaza's wells, numbering around 15, were a lifeline, ensuring a steady supply of water even during the driest months. These wells, along with the city's fortified walls and elevated terrain, made Gaza a formidable stronghold, capable of resisting prolonged sieges. But even the strongest walls could not protect Gaza from the forces of history. The city's strategic importance ensured that it would remain a prize for conquerors, a pawn in the power struggles of empires. And yet, amidst the cycles of conquest and destruction Gaza endured, its people adapting and rebuilding, its story woven into the fabric of the ancient world. But what hidden truths lie buried in Gaza's soil, waiting to be uncovered? What secrets do its ancient wells and walls hold, and how might they reshape our understanding of this legendary city? The answers, as we will soon discover, are more astonishing than anyone could have imagined. The origins of Gaza are shrouded in the mists of antiquity, a puzzle pieced together from fragments of ancient texts, archaeological finds, and the whispers of long-lost civilizations. The city's first mention in recorded history appears in the Bible, in Genesis 10:19, where it is listed as one of the boundaries of the Canaanite territory. This reference places Gaza's existence as far back as the early Bronze Age, a time when the descendants of Canaan, son of Ham and grandson of Noah, settled in the region. The Canaanites, a Semitic people, established a network of city-states across the land, each with its own rulers, gods, and traditions. Gaza, with its fertile plains and access to the sea, quickly emerged as a significant center of trade and culture. But the Canaanites were not the only early inhabitants of Gaza. The Bible also mentions the Avim, an ancient people who lived in villages as far as Gaza before being displaced by the Caphtorim, believed to be the ancestors of the Philistines. These early settlers left behind little evidence of their presence, their stories preserved only in the cryptic verses of Scripture and the fading memories of later generations. The arrival of the Philistines around the 12th century BCE marked a turning point in Gaza's history. These seafaring warriors, possibly originating from the Aegean or Anatolia, brought with them advanced technologies, including ironworking, and a culture of militarism that would shape the region for centuries. Gaza became one of the 5 principal cities of the Philistine Pentapolis, alongside Ashkelon, Ashdod, Ekron, and Gath. Under Philistine rule, Gaza flourished as a hub of commerce and military power, its influence extending far beyond its walls. Yet, the city's rise was not without conflict. The Philistines' arrival brought them into direct confrontation with the Israelites, a rivalry that would dominate the biblical narrative for generations. Gaza's strategic location made it a focal point of these struggles, a city caught between the ambitions of empires and the divine promises of a chosen people. But the origins of Gaza are not merely a tale of human endeavor. Beneath the layers of history lies a mystery, a secret that has eluded scholars for centuries. What drove the Philistines to settle in Gaza of all places? What ancient forces, both earthly and divine, shaped the destiny of this city? And what hidden truths about its earliest inhabitants remain buried, waiting to be uncovered? The answers, as we will soon discover, may lie in a discovery so profound it could rewrite the history of the ancient world. But to uncover it, we must first delve deeper into the shadows of Gaza's past, where the lines between myth and history blur and the echoes of ancient voices call out to be heard. The Philistine era marked a dramatic chapter in Gaza's history, transforming the city into a formidable stronghold and a symbol of resistance against the rising power of the Israelites. The Philistines, a seafaring people often associated with the mysterious sea peoples of ancient texts, brought with them a culture that was both advanced and alien to the region. Their mastery of ironworking gave them a military edge, while their pantheon of gods led by Dagon reflected a worldview steeped in both reverence and ruthlessness. Gaza, as one of the 5 cities of the Philistine Pentapolis, became a center of their political and military power, a city that thrived on trade, warfare, and the worship of deities who demanded both loyalty and sacrifice. The Philistines' arrival in Gaza was not peaceful. They clashed violently with the indigenous Canaanites and other local populations, establishing their dominance through a combination of military prowess and strategic alliances. Gaza's location, already a hub of commerce, became even more critical under Philistine control. The city served as a gateway for goods flowing between Egypt and the Levant, its markets bustling with merchants trading everything from spices and textiles to weapons and slaves. Yet it was Gaza's role in the biblical narrative that cemented its place in history. The Philistines' rivalry with the Israelites, chronicled in the books of Judges and Samuel, turned Gaza into a battleground for both earthly and divine forces. The city became a symbol of defiance against the God of Israel, a place where giants roamed and heroes were tested. It was in Gaza that Samson, the judge of Israel, met his tragic end. Captured, blinded, and humiliated by the Philistines, he was brought to Gaza's temple of Dagon, where he brought down the pillars in a final act of vengeance, killing thousands. But Gaza's significance extended beyond its conflicts with Israel. The city was a melting pot of cultures, where Philistine traditions blended with those of the Canaanites, Egyptians, and other neighboring peoples. This cultural fusion is evident in the artifacts unearthed from the period. Pottery adorned with Aegean motifs, inscriptions in unknown scripts, and temples that housed both Philistine and Canaanite deities. Yet, despite their achievements, the Philistines' dominance was not destined to last. The rise of the Israelite monarchy under Saul, David, and Solomon gradually eroded Philistine power, and Gaza's fortunes waned. But the city's story was far from over. The Philistines left behind a legacy that would shape Gaza for centuries, a legacy of resilience, cultural exchange, and conflict. And yet, beneath the surface of this history lies a mystery, a secret that has puzzled scholars for generations. What drove the Philistines to settle in Gaza, and what forces, both human and divine, shaped their destiny? The answers may lie in a discovery so profound it could rewrite our understanding of this ancient city. But to uncover it, we must first confront the shadows of Gaza's past, where the lines between myth and history blur, and the echoes of ancient voices call out to be heard. As the Philistine era waned, Gaza found itself caught in the crossfire of empires, vying for dominance over the ancient Near East. The Assyrians, with their vast and ruthless military machine, were the first to bring Gaza under their yoke. The 8th century BCE, the Assyrian king Tiglath-Pileser III launched a campaign to subdue the rebellious cities of the Levant, and Gaza was no exception. The city's strategic location made it a valuable prize, and its submission to Assyrian rule was marked by heavy tributes and the installation of loyal governors. Yet Gaza's spirit of resistance never fully died. The city's inhabitants, a mix of Philistines, Canaanites, and other local populations, continued to chafe under foreign domination, their discontent simmering beneath the surface. The fall of the Assyrian Empire in the late 7th century BCE brought little relief. The Babylonians, under the leadership of Nebuchadnezzar II, swept through the region, leaving destruction in their wake. Gaza, like many other cities, was caught in the path of this new imperial power. The Bible records the prophecies of Jeremiah, who foretold Gaza's downfall at the hands of the Babylonians. "Gaza is shaved bald," he declared, "and Ashkelon is destroyed." These words were not mere metaphor. Archaeological evidence suggests that Gaza suffered significant damage. During the Babylonian conquest, its temples razed and its people displaced. Yet even in the face of such devastation, Gaza endured. The city's strategic importance ensured that it would not remain in ruins for long. The rise of the Persian Empire under Cyrus the Great in the 6th century BCE brought a new era of relative stability. Gaza, now part of the Persian satrapy of Ebernari, became a key node in the empire's vast network of roads and trade routes. The city's markets once again bustled with activity, its warehouses filled with goods from as far away as India and Arabia. But beneath this veneer of prosperity lay a deeper truth. Gaza's history was one of cycles, of rise and fall, of conquest and resilience. The city's people, shaped by centuries of conflict and cultural exchange, had learned to adapt to the shifting tides of power. Yet even as they rebuilt their lives, they could not escape the shadow of their past. The question remains, what secrets lie buried in the layers of Gaza's soil, waiting to be uncovered? What untold stories of triumph and tragedy, of gods and empires remain hidden beneath the surface? The answers, as we will soon discover, may hold the key to understanding not just Gaza's history, but the very nature of human civilization. But to uncover them, we must first confront the shadows of the past, where the echoes of ancient voices call out to be heard. The Hellenistic period ushered in a new chapter for Gaza, one marked by cultural transformation, political upheaval, and the relentless march of empires. The conquests of Alexander the Great in the 4th century BCE brought the city under Greek influence, but not without a fight. Gaza, ever defiant, resisted Alexander's advance, leading to a brutal 2-month siege that ended in the city's destruction and the massacre of its inhabitants. Yet true to its enduring spirit, Gaza was rebuilt, this time as a Hellenistic city, its streets lined with Greek-style architecture, its temples dedicated to gods like Apollo and Zeus. The Ptolemaic and Seleucid dynasties, successors to Alexander's fractured empire, vied for control of Gaza, recognizing its strategic value as a gateway between Egypt and the Levant. Under Ptolemaic rule, Gaza flourished as a center of trade and culture, its markets brimming with goods from across the Mediterranean and beyond. The city became a melting pot of Greek, Egyptian, and local traditions, its people adapting to the new realities of Hellenistic dominance. But this cultural fusion was not without tension. The Seleucids, seeking to expand their influence, clashed with the Ptolemies in a series of wars that left Gaza caught in the middle. The city's loyalty shifted with the tides of battle, its inhabitants navigating the complexities of allegiance and survival. The Maccabean revolt in the 2nd century BCE added another layer of conflict, as Jewish forces under the Hasmonean dynasty sought to assert their independence from Seleucid rule. Gaza, with its mixed population and strategic location, became a target in this struggle. The Hasmonean king Alexander Jannaeus, in a brutal campaign, besieged and destroyed the city, slaughtering its inhabitants and leaving it in ruins. Yet once again, Gaza rose from the ashes. The Roman general Pompey, in his reorganization of the Eastern Mediterranean in the 1st century BCE, restored Gaza's autonomy, allowing it to rebuild and thrive as a Roman city. The city's streets were adorned with Roman temples, its economy revitalized by trade routes that stretched across the empire. But beneath this veneer of prosperity lay a deeper truth. Gaza's history was one of resilience, a city that had endured conquest, destruction, and rebirth time and time again. Yet the question remains, what secrets lie buried in the layers of Gaza's soil waiting to be uncovered? What untold stories of triumph and tragedy, of gods and empires, remain hidden beneath the surface? The answers, as we will soon discover, may hold the key to understanding not just Gaza's history, but the very nature of human civilization. But to uncover them, we must first confront the shadows of the past, where the echoes of ancient voices call out to be heard. The Roman era marked a time of both revival and reckoning for Gaza, as the city became a vital node in the vast network of the Roman Empire. Under Roman rule, Gaza was granted the status of a free city, allowing it to govern itself and mint its own coins, a privilege that underscored its importance as a center of commerce and culture. The city's streets were lined with Roman temples, theaters, and bathhouses, its markets bustling with traders from across the empire. Gaza's port, once a hub for Philistine and Greek merchants, now served as a gateway for Roman goods and military supplies, linking the empire's eastern provinces to the riches of Egypt and beyond. Yet, this period of prosperity was not without its challenges. The Roman conquest brought with it the heavy hand of imperial authority, as well as the cultural and religious tensions that often accompanied it. Gaza's diverse population, a mix of Greeks, Jews, Egyptians, and local Arabs, found themselves navigating the complexities of Roman rule, their lives shaped by the demands of taxation, military service, and the ever-present threat of rebellion. The Jewish revolts of the 1st and 2nd centuries CE, particularly the Great Revolt and the Bar Kokhba uprising, had far-reaching consequences for the region, and Gaza was no exception. The city's Jewish community, though small, faced persecution and displacement, while its pagan temples and institutions flourished under Roman patronage. Yet Gaza's resilience once again came to the fore. The city's strategic location ensured its continued importance, even as the Roman Empire began to decline. The rise of Christianity in the 4th century CE brought new challenges and opportunities, as Gaza's pagan temples were gradually replaced by churches, and its people adapted to the changing religious landscape. The city became a center of Christian learning and pilgrimage, its schools and monasteries attracting scholars and seekers from across the empire. But beneath this veneer of transformation lay a deeper truth. Gaza's history was one of cycles, of rise and fall, of conquest and resilience. The city's people, shaped by centuries of conflict and cultural exchange, had learned to adapt to the shifting tides of power. Yet even as they rebuilt their lives, they could not escape the shadow of their past. The question remains, what secrets lie buried in the layers of Gaza's soil, waiting to be uncovered? What untold stories of triumph and tragedy, of gods and empires remain hidden beneath the surface? The answers, as we will soon discover, may hold the key to understanding not just Gaza's history, but the very nature of human civilization. But to uncover them, we must first confront the shadows of the past, where the echoes of ancient voices call out to be heard. The Byzantine period brought both spiritual renewal and political turmoil to Gaza, as the city became a focal point in the spread of Christianity across the Eastern Mediterranean. Under Byzantine rule, Gaza's pagan temples were dismantled or repurposed, their altars replaced by crosses, and their halls transformed into churches. The city's Christian community, once a persecuted minority, now flourished, its bishops wielding significant influence in both religious and political affairs. Gaza became a center of Christian scholarship, its schools and monasteries attracting theologians, philosophers, and pilgrims from across the empire. The city's most famous son, the 6th century bishop Barsanuphius, was renowned for his wisdom and asceticism, his letters offering guidance to seekers from as far away as Egypt and Syria. Yet this era of spiritual vitality was not without its challenges. The rise of monasticism brought with it tensions between the city's secular and religious authorities, while the theological controversies that divided the Byzantine Empire, particularly the debates over the nature of Christ, reverberated within Gaza's walls. The city's diverse population, including Jews, Samaritans, and pagans, found themselves increasingly marginalized, their traditions suppressed in favor of Christian orthodoxy. The Samaritan revolts of the 5th and 6th centuries, though centered in nearby Nablus, had repercussions for Gaza, as the city's authorities sought to maintain order in the face of growing unrest. Yet even as Gaza's Christian identity solidified, the seeds of its next transformation were being sown. The rise of Islam in the 7th century CE brought a new wave of conquest and change as Arab armies swept through the region, toppling the Byzantine Empire and establishing a new order. Gaza, with its strategic location and rich history, became a key prize in this struggle. The city's capture by Muslim forces in 637 CE marked the beginning of a new chapter, one that would see Gaza transformed once again, its churches replaced by mosques, its Christian majority gradually giving way to a Muslim one. Yet beneath these sweeping changes lay a deeper truth. Gaza's history was one of resilience, a city that had endured conquest, destruction, and rebirth time and time again. The question remains, what secrets lie buried in the layers of Gaza's soil, waiting to be uncovered? What untold stories of triumph and tragedy, of gods and empires remain hidden beneath the surface? The answers, as we will soon discover, may hold the key to understanding not just Gaza's history, but the very nature of human civilization. But to uncover them, we must first confront the shadows of the past, where the echoes of ancient voices call out to be heard. The modern era has been one of relentless upheaval for Gaza, as the city and its surrounding region became a focal point in the struggles of the 20th and 21st centuries. Following the collapse of the Ottoman Empire after World War I, Gaza fell under British control as part of the Mandate for Palestine. This period saw the rise of nationalist movements among both Arabs and Jews, setting the stage for the conflicts that would define the region for decades to come. The 1948 Arab-Israeli War, known to Palestinians as the Nakba or catastrophe, resulted in the displacement of hundreds of thousands of Palestinians, many of whom sought refuge in Gaza. The city, already struggling with overcrowding and poverty, became a haven for refugees, its population swelling as its infrastructure strained under the weight of the crisis. The Egyptian administration of Gaza from 1948 to 1967 brought some stability, but it was a stability marked by hardship and limited opportunities. The Six-Day War of 1967 saw Israel capture Gaza, along with the West Bank and other territories, ushering in a new era of occupation and resistance. The Israeli military administration imposed strict controls on movement, economy, and daily life, while the construction of settlements further complicated the political and social landscape. Gaza's people, already scarred by decades of displacement and conflict, found themselves caught in a cycle of resistance and repression, their lives shaped by the realities of occupation. The First Intifada, or uprising of 1987, brought Gaza to the forefront of the Palestinian struggle for self-determination, as protests, strikes, and clashes with Israeli forces became a daily reality. The Oslo Accords of the 1990s offered a glimmer of hope, with the establishment of the Palestinian Authority and the promise of eventual statehood. Yet the failure of the peace process and the outbreak of the Second Intifada in 2000 dashed these hopes, plunging Gaza into a new cycle of violence. Israel's unilateral disengagement from Gaza in 2005, which saw the evacuation of settlements and the withdrawal of troops, was initially seen as a step toward peace. However, the rise of Hamas and its takeover of Gaza in 2007 led to a blockade by Israel and Egypt, isolating the territory and deepening its humanitarian crisis. The repeated conflicts between Israel and Hamas, including major military operations in 2008, 2012, 2014, and 2021, have left Gaza in a state of perpetual crisis, its people enduring the devastating consequences of war, blockade, and political fragmentation. Yet amidst this turmoil, Gaza's spirit of resilience endures. Its people, shaped by centuries of struggle and survival, continue to rebuild and resist. Their lives a testament to the enduring human capacity for hope and perseverance. But the question remains, what secrets lie buried in the layers of Gaza's soil waiting to be uncovered? What untold stories of triumph and tragedy, of gods and empires remain hidden beneath the surface? The answers, as we will soon discover, may hold the key to understanding not just Gaza's history, but the very nature of human civilization. But to uncover them, we must first confront the shadows of the past, where the echoes of ancient voices call out to be heard. As we reach the end of this journey through the millennia-long history of Gaza, one thing becomes abundantly clear. This ancient city is more than just a place on a map. It is a living testament to the resilience of the human spirit, a place where the echoes of empires, prophets, and warriors still resonate in the stones of its streets and the hearts of its people. From its earliest days as a Canaanite stronghold to its role as a Philistine fortress, from its days under Roman rule to its struggles in the modern era, Gaza has endured. It has been a crossroads of civilizations, a battleground for empires, and a beacon of hope for those who call it home. But the story of Gaza is far from over. Its people continue to face unimaginable challenges, yet they persist. Their lives, a testament to the enduring power of hope and resilience. And as we reflect on this history, we are reminded that the past is not just a series of events. It is a mirror, reflecting the complexities, the triumphs, and the tragedies of the human experience. Gaza's story is our story, a reminder of the fragility and strength that define us all. If this journey through the history of Gaza has moved you, if it has sparked your curiosity or deepened your understanding, then don't let it end here. Like this video, share it with others who might find it meaningful, and subscribe to our channel for more deep dives into the stories that shape our world. Together, let's keep exploring, learning, and uncovering the truths that connect us across time and space. Because history isn't just about the past, it's about understanding who we are and who we can become. Thank you for joining us on this journey. Until next time, keep seeking, keep questioning, and keep discovering.